You know that person who can't just enjoy a good day. Something nice happens, and they're already waiting for it to end. They book a holiday, and instead of looking forward to it, they spend 3 weeks stress testing every possible way it could go wrong. They get a compliment, and their first thought is what that person wants. Everything is fine, genuinely fine, and they are exhausted. And if you ask them why, they couldn't really tell you. It's just how they are. Always on, always scanning, always a little bit braced for whatever's coming next. That's not anxiety, at least not in the clinical sense. That's something more specific. And once you understand what it actually is, it explains a lot more than just the worrying. Here's what's happening. The human nervous system has 2 basic operating modes. One is the mode you're supposed to spend most of your time in, sometimes called rest and digest, where the body handles its maintenance, stores energy, processes information, feels things fully. The other is the threat response mode, fight or flight, which is designed to be temporary. It floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline, sharpens attention on the immediate environment, and deprioritizes everything not relevant to the immediate threat. Digestion slows. Long-term thinking goes offline. Sleep becomes lighter. The body is running on emergency power. That second mode is what survival mode is, and it's supposed to be temporary. The problem is that for a lot of people, it became the default setting. Not because of one big thing, but because of years of smaller things. Unpredictability, instability, environments where staying alert wasn't optional, it was necessary. The nervous system learned to treat ordinary life as a threat landscape. And then, even when the landscape changed, the setting didn't. Neuroscientist Bruce Perry has spent decades studying how chronic stress reshapes the brain, particularly in people who experienced it early. What he found is that sustained activation of the threat response actually rewires the neural architecture. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, becomes hypersensitive. The prefrontal cortex, which handles reasoning, perspective, and the ability to feel safe, loses ground. The brain isn't malfunctioning, it adapted. It just adapted to a version of the world that no longer exists. So what does this look like in daily life? It looks like someone who is competent, functional, often impressive, and quietly running on fumes. They handle things, they show up, they manage a lot, often more than most people around them. But they can't fully rest even when they have the chance. Weekends feel vaguely uncomfortable. Stillness feels irresponsible. The voice that says something is about to go wrong doesn't clock out at 5 p.m. They've built a whole life around managing things, and they're very good at it, and it costs them something every single day that they never quite get back. Here's the part people don't usually see. A lot of people in survival mode don't look like they're struggling. They look like they're on top of things. They're the reliable one, the one who handles the crisis, the one people call when something needs to be sorted. That's not a coincidence. The hypervigilance that made ordinary life feel threatening also made them very good at reading rooms, anticipating problems, managing complexity. The same wiring that's exhausting them is also what makes them effective, which makes it harder to identify as a problem because it keeps producing results. Psychologists studying what's called allostatic load, the cumulative wear on the body from prolonged stress, have found something that should probably be said more plainly. The body doesn't distinguish between the stress of actual danger and the stress of constantly anticipating danger. Both produce the same hormonal response, both deplete the same resources. A person who hasn't been in real danger for 10 years but has spent those 10 years scanning for it is carrying the same physiological cost as someone who has. The exhaustion is real. The depletion is measurable. It's not in their head, it's in their bloodstream. Now, there are 2 kinds of people in this situation, and they look identical from the outside. The first kind knows something is off. They've read the articles, they recognize the pattern. They can describe their own hypervigilance with impressive accuracy, and they still can't stop. Because understanding the mechanism and being able to change the mechanism are different skills. Knowing you're in threat response doesn't turn off threat response. The brain isn't persuaded by insight alone, It needs something different. The second kind has fully normalized it. This is just who they are. This is how they stay safe. The idea of actually relaxing, not taking a bath and calling it relaxing, but genuinely letting the guard down, feels irresponsible at best and dangerous at worst. And for them, the hardest part isn't changing the behavior. It's believing that a different way of living is actually available to them. What actually helps is different from what most people try. It's not thinking your way out of it. The threat response runs below the level of conscious reasoning. What actually resets it is physiological, specifically consistent signals to the nervous system that the environment is safe. Not convincing yourself it's safe. Giving the body evidence that it's safe. That's a different process, and it happens through things like physical safety in relationships, predictable positive experiences, and over time, the accumulation of days that ended okay. Not dramatically okay, just okay. The nervous system updates its model slowly, through repetition, not through revelation. You didn't end up in survival mode because something is wrong with you. You ended up there because something was right with you. Your nervous system did exactly what nervous systems do when the environment requires constant alertness. It adapted. The adaptation worked. It kept you functional through things that required functioning. The cost is that it kept running after the things that required it were gone. And the way out isn't forcing yourself to relax or deciding to be different. It's the much slower, more boring work of giving your nervous system enough evidence over enough time that it's actually okay to stand down. That the good day isn't about to end. That the compliment doesn't have a hidden agenda. That the stillness isn't a trap. It takes longer than anyone wants it to, but it takes exactly as long as it takes for a nervous system that learned to survive to start believing it's allowed to do something else.